Where'd you grow up? How'd you grow up? Catholic all along. Like, let's hear about little Joey, like the one in the pouch.
That's for all of our listeners down under. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the BeatiDudes, a podcast for Christian men seeking to grow in holiness while walking arm in arm with each other as we continue. And if you're watching on YouTube right now, you're seeing us following through, linking arms right now. That's literally happening. It's very Catholic, right? So the outward reflects the inward reality. We're always trying to do that. So
sacramental. The way we just
sacramental, yes. And so my name is Paul Kolker. I'm one of the hosts and founders here, joined as always by my co-hosts, my bro hosts, Nicholas Besner.
What's going on, everybody?
And Jeffrey Scheffelbein.
Looking forward to another near occasion of comedy.
That's... I love that. Feel kind of guilty even describing it that way. I need to go to confession. But anyway, and we have back with us in studio none other than Joe Condit. Here he is head of the Catholic Speakers Organization, started it to keep his sister from getting ripped off. Go back and watch. No, more than just that, but go back and watch the previous episode if you haven't seen that yet, because it was a great story about...
He solved a problem.
He solved... It's entrepreneurship and the faith mixed. It's this beautiful marriage there. Yeah, so he solved a problem and it became so much more than he ever could have anticipated. Go watch that, but we're gonna learn a little bit more about Joe in just a second here. Before we do that, we're gonna play
Blessed Are the Joke Makers bonus edition. Got in my own head there. And this this one's gonna be worth a big one, 140 points.
So wild to me that these are, you like to like really mix this up.
Got to keep you on your toes, Jeff, just like you do with us in the Reverse Simpsons.
No,
Yes.
Yeah, well, if you missed it,
Go watch the end of the last episode.
These guys are terrible at
Goodness.
English.
Yeah, that's the issue. Okay, so the way the bonus edition works is we all get a character card, and Joe, you have to try to guess what our character card is while we're all responding to the same Catholic card game prompt.
Okay.
So again, these are just like general characters, like personas, like a clown, a birthday clown.
Okay.
But you wouldn't say Bozo the clown because that's too specific.
Okay.
Yes.
Correct. General.
Yes,
okay.
exactly.
Anybody
So
name another famous clown?
You got it.
Joker.
It's all Catholic
the Joker.
themed, right?
Pennywise.
Yeah, there you go.
The prompts are all Catholic themed.
Yeah,
Okay.
the prompts are Catholic themed, and actually we have a link in our show notes to get the Catholic card game if you want to get it. We're using it differently, but they have a whole setup of their own, and it's phenomenal. It's a fun game. But yes, so the goal of this one, it's still what makes you laugh or enjoy it the most, but there is kind of an extra goal of just see if we can get you to guess it.
Okay.
Right, so it's kind of who does that.
But we don't win the
best.
points for you guessing. You still have to judge who's the best of us.
Oh, well, there's going to be a lot that goes into that.
All right, so here we go. The prompt that we're all going to be having to address is the best pilgrimages offer blank to its pilgrims.
Oh, bro. Joey, I don't know if you know about this, but there's this incredible pilgrimage company offering the most special opportunities. What we do is we go down to Kona on pilgrimage, and we get out there, and we just wait for that radical time of the day, and we jump on, ride a little fakie, and the next thing you know, when that riptide comes through, I'm doing it for you, Joey. I'm doing it for you because they ripped off your sister, and I'm going to rip off this tide. I don't know why my voice changed.
When do I get to guess?
Go for
Now.
Yeah.
Surfer.
Yeah, I'm a surfer dude.
Yeah, surfer dude.
And I worked in the part about your sister. Don't forget that.
it. Pandering.
Nothing like a little good pandering.
Promo there.
Yeah.
I like I love the hustle.
Hey, maybe with the 140 points, I could take you to Kona. Is that a restaurant?
Joseph. The best pilgrimages, of course, start with a sunrise walk, barefoot, up the mountain, and maybe back down, and maybe back up again. But really, to find yourself one with nature is the journey, is the destination. And wherever you find yourself is exactly where you're supposed to be.
What is he?
It's either going to be a meditation, yoga leader, or like a meditation
Sure,
kind of
yeah. Enlightened guru.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
enlightened guru. Or I was going to say hippie too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I mean,
All in the same vein, I think.
The best pilgrimages offer the opportunity to get outdoor exercise on their pilgrimages. That's right. Pilgrims should be out there kicking the ball, should be running up the field. I'm talking like if you're going to Italy, you need to be playing calcio, which is Italian for football. Actually, it's Italian for soccer because the only real football is American football. But halfway through the pilgrimage, you should get a pep talk about how to finish the other half. And then you can clinch the title of the keys to the kingdom.
He is a TV evangelist or a pastor, a preacher.
Oh, no!
You're a coach.
Yeah, enthusiastic sports coach.
Oh,
I did have I was going Southern because of
man.
Texas football.
No, that was really good.
Don't give me
wow,
that.
cricket.
I'm gonna put that on Paul.
Wow. Oh, thanks, Nick.
I had the Catholic theme in mind too, Paul, but oh my goodness.
Where are these 140 going?
Yeah, it's your call.
Oh man.
You could give sympathy points to people.
Yeah, like people who
Don't.
did the wrong accent
do it.
slightly.
I got into those waves.
All right, Jeff. I think you won that one, but a close second was Nick. Close second, but his acting skills are like,
Well, he's kind of a professional. Do
yeah. So it's
No, you guys
kind of
earned it.
unfair.
you know what I love telling people?
Let's give Nick points though on that one.
I give Nick 40.
Come
I'll get you
on.
100.
Fine. I
Fine.
don't
Yeah,
like
'cause it
splitting
was-
points. We've never done it before.
Well, I know, but
we probably have.
I feel like Nick gets to fake out a number of times where people are like,
A
well,
number of
I
times.
like Nick's.
Yeah, Nick's was great,
but-
but Jeff's gonna get the points anyway.
Yeah, I gotta say that's
Nick's,
just
yours was really awesome, but Jeff invited me here. Is what I heard.
listen. I like when people say, you came in second. It was close, but it was just a really, really far gap. Like, what? You were the second one though. Hey,
was a
Paul.
distant
As
second.
soon as you started talking, I
You were
knew
a
you were a
distant
coach because when we had Jordan Rayner on, and you said, "Listen up, squad."
Oh, yeah.
I'm not joking. I've been packing up my house, putting stuff in boxes, and I keep hearing this echo of Paul going, "All right, squad." And I'm like, "Okay, I can pack another box." Coach Polonius is here.
We might be down. We might be down by 2 touchdowns.
We're going to turn it around in the second half.
Squad. All right. Well, speaking of squads, I got no transition there.
Joey's got a squad.
Now we're gonna talk about our squads, aren't we?
Yeah, our
let's-
family squad.
We want to know about your upbringing. Obviously you have a great love for your sister. We learned about how you took care of her whenever she became a prominent speaker in the Catholic faith. Where'd you grow up? How'd you grow up? Catholic all along? Like, let's hear about little Joey, like the one in the pouch.
That's for all of our listeners down under.
No, I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio. Was blessed to have a huge Catholic family. I'm actually one of 61 grandchildren on my dad's side and one of about 30 on my mom's.
Life goals. That's awesome. Wow.
So my dad's the oldest of 11. My mom's one of 8. I'm one of 6. 3 boys, 3 girls. And, my parents did give me the gift of the Catholic faith, of which I didn't realize how awesome it was growing up. Literally went to the Latin Mass, actually, every day from kindergarten to 9th grade. And learned how to serve when I was in 1st grade. Fell away from the Catholic faith my college years, and then kind of came back after God hit me up the head a little bit in a whole nother episode. I was unknowingly involved with what was at the time the largest Ponzi scheme in American business history, only to be beat by Bernie Madoff 2 months later. I don't mention any names involved just to respect everybody, and actually the person that I still write letters to, and I'm loyal to a fault, and the guy gave me my first chance. But anyway, I had a lot, skipped over a ton, but my family has really been the anchor, and I can't thank them enough for blessing me with the Catholic faith.
Yeah.
So many things in my life I could have went completely other ways, and if I didn't have my faith, I think I would have, fallen into just great despair. Or, it helped me get through a lot of hard times.
Man, if we're going to throw on Ponzi schemes, you talked about family loss before. Can we go ahead and talk about how crazy your health journey has been too? Let's just throw it all on here. Let's just start there and then we'll build back up.
Yeah, I was, now it's going to be public, but hey, you asked, so I told you I'd answer anything you asked me.
Come Holy Spirit.
There you go. I got both my sister and I were diagnosed with Lyme disease, which is, if you don't know what that is, you're literally one of the most unlucky people in the world to be bit by a tick that carries it. So some people have different ideas of how it's passed on to you, but you get bit by a tick. A lot of doctors say it's only tick-borne. And it's a terrorist disease. Like, it affects everyone differently. It gives everyone different types of symptoms, and the only way you can attack it is by treating it, and the doctors help you find out how to treat that specific type that's in your bloodstream. So I went to Phoenix and had that addressed over the summer, so I had to take some time off. And, it really gave me a different perspective. I went in there with a real woe is me type of attitude, and sitting down for 5 hours a day for about a month-ish next to people with stage 4 cancer and people that were told by Mayo Clinic, you have no chance. You make hospice plans. Beating their cancer and them having a way better attitude than most people I've ever met. Oh. And one person actually praying with me, for me, when I first got there my first day, and then leaving, and the patient next to me, because they put like 50 of us in a room. Some rooms are like 20. We're all lazy boys, and they hook you up with the port in your chest, and they pump you with your treatment. And this one woman, I'll never forget, my first day I was scared. I'd never had health issues in my life. And she starts praying with me and saying, it's going to be good. God's good. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. She gets up and leaves, and the person, I said, yeah, she's, I forget her name. She said, I'm not going to mention her name because we're talking about health things. But she said, yeah, that woman, she's got 3 rare blood diseases, 3 rare types of blood disease. And she was told she was supposed to be dead 6 months ago. And this lady is praying for me. I was the healthiest person in the room. And that was the real therapy, is to remember that, God is going to take care of you no matter what's happening to us. But also, you got to find joy in suffering. And I looked around the room every day thinking, I'm the healthiest person in here. When I showed up thinking, how did I end up here? Because it felt like that, I'm all of a sudden in a room full of people with cancer. And so it was another life-changing experience. So
crazy. Wow.
You've had so much. Well, first of all, your stories are incredible. Your life is incredible, and you're a blessing to so many others. But you've been around these speakers. You've been in these men conferences that you've launched. You've had your own journey, right? It's not like you could just be the guy on stage introducing all these celebrity speakers and going to the National Football Championship for college football with Jim Caviezel. Let's just drop that in there from the last episode. You look tired, by the way. I think you stayed up too late at the National Championship last night.
I thought I looked good.
But no, he got mugged because he had an Ohio shirt underneath everything.
Yeah.
Wait, did he tell you this?
he mentioned it in passing as we were walking in. Yeah,
I did at the national championship game. Just to stick
brave young man.
Just to stick it to the state that shall not be named. I wore an Ohio State T-shirt under the purple that I had on. And, it was funny. I was walking past one kid. Everybody was good, lighthearted. Everyone's so nice. And one kid, ended up going, hey, who are you? And I said, I'm your worst nightmare. And I pulled my shirt down. He saw the Ohio State. He was a Michigan fan. He just lost it. He thought it was hilarious. But he's like, get out of here.
See, Joe gets the surprise and delight.
Yeah.
Surprise them for your own delight.
That's it.
So the question I would set up is there's a lot of men that listen to the show and then a bunch of women too. But
who we love having listened, by the way, Jeff. Your delivery on that.
Just shuffle them in the door too. Come on.
There's smart ones. There's other ones. There's
oh my God.
Men and women. I mean, wow. Gosh, everything I'm saying now is pretty terrible.
Yeah. Maybe we edit this part out.
There's Australians. So my point to all this that I'm terribly attacking is, what is something you would share to encourage men, especially men that are listening to this show that are maybe have fallen away from the Catholic faith, maybe have fallen away from even believing that there's anything to have faith in, and they just know that this show's funny and it's better than whatever trash podcast you could listen to. I'm just trying to beef us up here, but recovering here. Yeah. In other words, if you're talking to the person who's not, full on BeatiDudes, been to Latin Mass, believes in the true presence of the Eucharist, what have you seen, or what are you encouraged by, or what do you tell young men about following this journey into faith and not letting up on it?
There's a point where we're all going to hit rock bottom. And, my rock bottom is going to be much different than your rock bottom. Some people's rock bottom is way low. Some people's is not that low. But there's a point in our lives where we all hit rock bottom. And when I talk to my friends about this, that's where it challenges any man to start thinking, what am I on this earth for? What do I believe in? because it's a dark place when you're your own God, And so what I do when I tell men, especially young guys, and we're all on this journey together, and we all need to learn how to stop masking. I made that mistake where you pretend everything is great all the time. And, God bless my wife. She's really helped me look in the mirror now that I have somebody that's with me a lot more than just myself and can escape and, act like everything's great. She's really helped me realize that when you cover that stuff up, when you try and not address, your problems, especially as men, because we mask everything. Men, all of us right now, again, it's not like we're all terrible people, but we all are hiding something. Not on purpose, but something that we don't like, and we don't want others to know or anyone. And that is what you need to address with yourself and the good Lord. And I always tell, grab a friend. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and probably go to Mass if you haven't done Mass in years. You're probably not going to wake up tomorrow and go hit church or go to adoration. Start with just talking to your best friend and confide in them. And hopefully that best friend will be able to help them, and both can lead each other down a path toward what ultimately is the good Lord. You got to start somewhere. That was the whole point of the men's conference. It's not meant to solve everyone's problems, but it's supposed to present that motivation and resources. So speakers like Jeff, and then the resources, all the organizations we had there, to just let men know that you're not in this alone. There are other guys out there struggling with the exact same stuff, even though they don't admit it. We all are, So that's kind of it's one little step at a time, especially with dudes. You know how we all are, the BeatiDudes. But the dudes are just, we don't like to talk about our feelings. We don't like to open up. We are made to feel like we are the rock of the family, the rock of our wives, and we can't show weakness. Which is, I always tell people, entrepreneurship is really difficult. You can't show weakness to your employees, and you can't show weakness to your investors. So you're kind of alone. And taking that and putting that just in any man's life, take out the entrepreneurship. We're all entrepreneurs of our own life. You don't want to show weakness to certain people, with your wife, your kids, and you need people. Even the saints said we can't do this alone. You got to find good mentors, and I highly recommend it be someone of faith, especially the Catholic faith. But it's what I've learned is you have to do it very small steps, and those little small steps when you start add up huge over time. You're looking at bunts rather than grand slams.
That's awesome. And I think that's hugely encouraging and practical. And then I also just, as you were talking, it struck me as being similar to the road to Emmaus at the end of Luke's gospel, where you have two disciples who are leaving Jerusalem, where the resurrection has just happened, but they don't know that. All they know is that the crucifixion happened, and they're walking away, and then Jesus comes alongside them and says, what are you talking about? What are these things you're discussing as you walk? And they say, are you the only ones who haven't heard what has happened in these last days, and just recently? And he said, what things? And he's basically coming alongside as a counselor, but it's happening as they're in communion with each other, even as they're walking away from the point of the faith, right, from the greatest miracle to ever happen, the resurrection. They're walking away from it, and he comes and finds them, but he finds them in that brotherhood as they're walking. And so just that idea of talking to a close friend already starts to invite the Lord into it.
Exactly.
I love your advice too, and to your point, like bunts, not grand slams. The more I'm finding, especially men that are willing to be vulnerable, I struggle with this. This is a part of church teachings. This is a part of my upbringing. This is a part of my role as a provider that I struggle with. It's really wild what happens, because I think most people would experience the same thing. As men start to be vulnerable and more loving and less protective, it's almost like it's easier to do business together. It's easier to support one another. It's easier to open doors for each other. It's easier to spot when your brother needs, tough love versus a hug versus just to go have some fun. And so there's like great reward, even from just the most earthly, humanistic standpoint of vulnerability. And then if that's opening you up to the supernatural so that you can see what's really going on here, it's just powerful. I just watched the talk by Monsignor Shea at Seek. You can go on seekreplay.com and watch their talks. And boy, he goes deep into this. Like, what things did you do last night that you're pretending aren't your problem right now while you're in this conference full of amazing people. And he like gives some very hard examples.
Wow.
And he's like, put it this way, and go watch this. He said, you should have anxiety if you have no God in your life and you realize that somebody is following you around trying to kill you and trying to ruin your life, and it's Satan. And he's like, that is a lot of anxiety. You should have anxiety. Like, it's warranted. What are you going to do about it, though, to show up every day for what is real, and that's the supernatural graces of Jesus Christ. So,
Wow.
hey, Joe, these bonus shows are short. So any last comments before we take it out of here and see you on the big stage?
No, I can't thank you guys for what you're doing. You know, I was lucky enough to be there when you had this as a concept, and to watch what you guys have grown into is incredible. And Jeff, thanks again for coming to speak at the National Men's Conference last year.
Actually, you shut it down after I spoke, though. It's really weird you didn't do it this year. Don't think I didn't notice.
End on a high note.
Can't be
Don't
topped.
think I didn't notice.
topped.
No, we're coming back in 2025. 24, the health reasons, all that stuff. But
Yeah,
no,
no,
it
that's
was.
good.
No, I know you're joking, but no, very sincerely thank you. You came in and did that for us at your own goodwill. And that was a special day because there's a lot of guys that came together and did that. And we want to have the BeatiDudes there at one point to
Well,
do a
it'll be
live show.
It'll be really cool. You know, I know we'll do a live show out in the hall, but it'd be really weird when you have thousands and thousands in a giant arena and the three of us are sitting this close to you on a giant stage
That would be
doing the
fun.
live version. And they're like, why are they so close?
Occupying 9 square feet.
Yeah. We ran an entire arena for that.
Yeah.
But no, thank you guys, and thanks for what you're doing. This is so creative way to evangelize the Word of God, and that's our mission at the Catholic Speakers Organization, to evangelize the Word of God through those that do it best, our speakers, which you guys are. So thanks for what you're doing, and thanks for having me. This has been a blast.
All right, brother. We appreciate you so much. We will see you at the National Men's Conference for years and years to come, and for the rest of you, we will
See you in the Eucharist.
be blessed.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to join us at our undersized table, subscribe to the video version of the show on YouTube by typing @ that's the symbol @ so shift and 2 on your keyboard, @the_BeatiDudes on YouTube. We'll see you there.
This podcast is part of the Spoke Street Network. For more great podcasts, visit spokestreet.com.